joining us now to talk more about what transpired over the weekend and to discuss possible further steps against ISIS. Former Army Special Forces officer and the current director of Foreign and National Security Policy for the Heritage Foundation, Stephen Bucci. Steve, we welcome you back to America's Forum. The expansion of the U.S. air campaign. What kind of expansion are we talking about in the days ahead?
Well, it remains to be seen. Right now, the assets have been all carrier-based aircraft or armed drones. Both have been very effective, but there's still so much to do, and I don't think that's going to be enough. I think we may see an expansion of putting some Air Force aircraft, perhaps in Kuwait, perhaps in Saudi Arabia, perhaps in Turkey. Remains to be seen how that'll play out.
Well, as we take a look at this, Stephen, the early airstrikes were criticized as pinpricks. What transpired over the weekend, was that a step up in intensity and ferocity from the air?
There were additional ones, so there were more of them. They're still hitting individual targets. They're not doing any sort of, massed bombing or that sort of thing. But it was targeted specifically as close air support for the Kurdish forces. That's a little different than just hitting targets to try and get the ISIS forces to back up. So there was coordination between the Kurdish ground forces and the American air assets.
How tough is it to establish that kind of coordination? We were talking about hearing that at long last the Kurds have gotten arms from the United States. As a practical matter, does it take a while to actually coordinate the fight, as it were, between our air assets and what the Kurds are doing on the ground?
It is very difficult, which is why we have suggested, and they may be doing it, I don't know that they're not, is embedding some of our special operations forces with the Kurds to do, both to advise them, but also to do that interface with the American and Allied air assets. It's a lot easier to allow our guys to do it. They have the radios, they have the techniques, they know what the different weapon systems can do to more effectively service the targets. It'd be a lot simpler than trying to teach the Kurds at this point how to do all those things effectively.
But it's something that bears amplification. Stephen Bucci, you're telling us that you believe probably some of our operational people are helping coordinate these things on the ground with the Kurds.
I don't have any classified knowledge of that, but looking at the effectiveness of the strikes, I'm guessing some of those advisors that the president has sent over there may be moving with them, similar to what we did in Afghanistan right after 9/11, where we had our Green Berets embedded with the Northern Alliance to control the air assets in support of the Northern Alliance ground operations. That is what we need to do here. It will maximize the effectiveness of the air. It will also keep anything from happening, like someone dropping bombs on a target that really isn't ISIS, but it's a local rival, for instance. If our guys are controlling it, we can minimize or eliminate those sort of incidents.
In the couple of minutes that remain, you can understand when you talked about the possibility of our people coordinating on the ground with those Kurdish units, why that could be news. And I appreciate you saying, hey, look, this is speculation. You don't have the intelligence information on that. But obviously, you spent some time at the Pentagon with Secretary Rumsfeld and others, and the political side of what is happening now, the president going to great pains to say, hey, look, we're not going to have significant ground involvement. We're not going to put American boots back on the ground in an operation. Do you believe that he will remain true to that, or will we see what some people would call, quote, mission creep?
I don't really see it as mission creep. I mean, the president has already said he's sending advisors. They've been doing that for a couple of weeks, and they've expanded it little by little over the last few days. That is not the same as sending in a Marine division or the 82nd Airborne Division. That's what they're talking about when they say no boots on the ground. American infantry, American armor is not going to deploy to Iraq and fight that battle. But having our soft troops together with local militaries, that I think is acceptable to both Congress, the president, and should be acceptable to the American people. That's what our soft guys do. They're the best in the world at it, and they can really make a difference in this situation.
And we'll leave it there. Stephen Bucci, as always, we appreciate what you bring to the table. Thanks again for your time.
Thanks for having me back.
You betcha. Moving now to another important topic, skin cancer, the subject of this Max to Health.
You're watching Max to Health.
Basking in the sun can be fun and give you a golden tan, but dermatologists recommend that you always wear lotion and take extra precaution in the summer.
It's very important that people get tested for skin cancer. And the way that you get checked with a complete skin exam. And that should be done once a year. The best time is in the summertime with the summer sun. In the summertime, I consider that fertilizer that stimulates the skin cancers and precancers to come to the surface. So the best time to get checked, if you do not have a history of skin cancer, is once a year in the summertime. If you have a history of skin cancer, you should get checked every 6 months. If you have a history of melanoma, you should get checked every 3 months for the first year and every 6 months after that.
Do a self-exam of your skin. Learn the pattern of moles, blemishes, freckles, and other marks on your body so that you can discuss those with your doctor. I'm Hannah Stopcheck.
Get more health news at newsmaxhealth.com.